start, I wanted to mention something about Peace Corps. So Peace Corps is a federal agency that sends Americans overseas to help out in economic or social development around the world. They don't go to any country unless they're invited. It's a 2-year program that supports you in every fashion and way. They take care of you as funding, health, housing, and training. So if you want to learn more about Peace Corps, you please go to their website, www.peacecorps.gov, and you get as much information, technical information, as you're looking for. But today's episode is not about Peace Corps recruiting or anything like that, but it is about sharing some experience. It just happened to be about Peace Corps. All right? Come on, let's continue. Yeah, I can see that. I had pretty much similar, but I also realized, and this is in retrospect after I left or towards the end, is that there were little microaggressions and so on, where some of them would be where just because, wait a minute, he's only been here a year. You've been here a month. Why don't you know the language more than he? Aren't you from here? Your family should have taught you this language before. My family doesn't even know this language. Right. So yeah. So we had a little bit of that. And just that sometimes just little microaggressions would be, I think it was one incident where I think we were going to an inauguration of a library, and I just happened to let everybody ahead of me, and I was the last one, and the security guard just like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm with them, with the delegation of volunteers and so on. And like, no, go. It was a friend of mine who's happened to be a volunteer at the time. Hey, he's American. He's with me. I'm like, so even if I wasn't, the way he treated, I'm like, I felt bad. I'm like, if I was a Ghanaian and who I was just with the party, I'm like, I'm like, gosh, So if it wasn't for my buddy guy, who said he's with us, I would have. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and my experience from that perspective was more with the white South Africans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was so interesting because myself and this other African American Peace Corps volunteer, we lived in villages next to each other. Her house was about an hour's walk from my house, which was easy back then. But sometimes we would go to this little town because the nearest town, because we lived in villages, but the nearest town was roughly about a 45-minute bus ride away. And we would go there because they had a more modern grocery store. They had restaurants, but it was historically a very white Afrikaner town. The blacks would go there on the weekends to do their grocery shopping. Then they would go back to the village. But we would go there, hang out. They had a little internet cafe. They had restaurants. And it was so interesting because the white South Africans would be so negative towards us until they found out we were Americans. And once they found out we were Americans, they were like our best friend.
Oh my God.
And I remember one thing that happened. So she and I, we were sitting out, and there was this little restaurant, a little cafe, and we sat on the patio. So we were waiting to get served, and we were just sitting there, and the black woman who was actually cleaning up the restaurant came up to us. And she said something to us. I think she was speaking in either Sotho or Tsonga, but whatever it was, we didn't understand what she was saying. And she kept saying something. We looked at. So my friend, my really good friend Alana, she grabbed her by the hand, and she took her to the cashier, who was a white woman. She said, "What is she saying? I don't know what she's saying." And she told her what she said. She said, "Oh, she said, if you're not buying anything, you need to leave." And we said, well, we were never asked. No one ever came. We were waiting for the waitress to come. She assumed because a lot of the black people went to the grocery store that was next to the restaurant, they were sitting there waiting for the bus to go back to the village. And we were like, no, we're coming here to eat. And then when she heard our accents, she realized we were American. And then this white woman became so nice to us, and she's talking to us and all this stuff. And we're like, I said, it's so sad that we had the opportunity to see them being nice and friendly, and that they really aren't like horrible people. But for the black side of us, they never had that opportunity because for them, they're always going to be treated less than by the white people. And we saw that time after time that, again, once they found out we were American, they were like just so nice to us.
Wow.
But before that, they were like mean. I had this one, I was working on a project with one of my schools to get water installed at the school. We had raised money and all this. And there was this guy that was taking advantage of it. I'm like, I think he was trying to steal their money. And when I went to go meet with him, he was like, "Oh, you're that guy that tries to sound American."
Oh my God!
And I said,
trying to sound American.
And I was like, "No, yeah. I am American. That's where I'm from." But he assumed that I was same as the other teachers, but that I tried to change my accent to sound American.
Oh wow!
And I was like, "No, you're gonna make sure." And once he found out I was American, he went ahead and did the work for them. But he was actually trying to. So he still overcharged them, but that was a whole nother story. But yeah, so there was that
came out of his mouth. You're the guy who's trying to sound American.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
He just saw me as a black man. So
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So how do you what do you say to the RPCV community, to the recruiters, being a fellow recruiters, moving forward? How do we get these more stories out? How's that? And to let people know that there are return Peace Corps volunteers of color. Now I have to put a little disclosure to that, because of course we've seen more and more return volunteers, and a lot of them coming out. A lot of them being diversity, blacks, Hispanic, Asian, and so on. So that's the number is growing, but we both agree that the number is not there.
Right.
Okay, so we know that we're not. We're kind of preaching to the choir a little bit. At the same time, we still need to get to where we need to go. So how do we proceed? What would you suggest to those people, even who are saying, we're doing the work?
Right.
Yeah,
I think that, one, I know even for me, I need to do a better job of continuing to go back and share my story. I think that, a lot of times we get busy with our lives and, work and just the reality of being back here and trying to make a living. But I think we definitely need to do a better job of going back. I know the recruiters try to do a good job of planning like diversity events. And I know sometimes for them, it's probably hard, like pulling teeth to get RPCVs to come to the events and speak on panels. So I think that we just need to have a more concerted effort to actually speak on campuses. And I've done it a few times on my college campus, but I feel like I could probably do it even more. I mean, not just my college campus, so even like going to high schools. Last year, a friend of mine from high school is a elementary school teacher. And she actually invited me to come to talk to the elementary school kids. And I thought that was so cool because they were just so excited about the stories and seeing the pictures. So I definitely think that even starting at that young age, to let them know that this is a possibility, because if you put it in their minds now, then they'll continue to think that, oh, this is something that I could do. I couldn't go overseas. I can go and, whether it's working in another country or volunteering in the Peace Corps, that's something other than just what they see every day. People maybe go to college, come back, get a job, and then that's it. That there's more to life or more out there that they could do. So I think that we just have to do a better job as a community of continuing to say, hey, we're here, we've done this and you can too. And I noticed, because again, when I worked as a recruiter, I went to a lot of HBCUs, and it was just surprising to me, just even on a college level, the misconceptions that people have.
I agree with that.
About, Africa, even like Asia and these other places, the world outside of the U.S. So I think showing them that, no, you're not going to go over there and get killed, that you're not going to go over there and people are going to hate you. You can go there, you can integrate into the community, you can have a great experience. So I definitely think that we have to do that. And then as a whole, Peace Corps, from a marketing perspective, I think needs to do a better job, which I think they do an okay job, but a better job of highlighting these stories and reaching out and doing things like what you're doing, interviewing and sharing, whether it's on their blogs or on their Peace Corps website or in their videos, these diverse stories.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with that too. And partnering with different organizations as well. For example, I think it's Alliance Française is an organization that goes to high schools every year, and I usually volunteer for them just to be in high school in front of high school students.
Right.
And usually it's French, high level, advanced level students, and you go in there. You could tell your story about Peace Corps, your travel. What they want to hear is basically, how French is being used. And I'm sure there's other agencies too, Hispanic agencies as well, who does the same thing, where they'll put you in front of high school students, and they tell you how Spanish is being used around the world. The French part, I usually just throw in my Peace Corps story. Yeah, sure, I use French because no one spoke English in my community. So, and they just get entrailed into the Peace Corps story, and like, oh wow, so that's that's what you call that, planting the seed and early on, so things like that basically would be a great start, and anybody could do that. You don't even have to wait till Peace Corps,
right? Yeah.
But another thing, so we're celebrating Black History Month, and at the end of Black History Month never changes, is Peace Corps Week. So that would be a great opportunity just to try to reach out to agencies and get out there and talk to classes, everyone about Peace Corps, and you don't have to wait for Peace Corps, but if you do want to work with Peace Corps, I believe there's worldwide schools, and you can go on Peace Corps website, www.peacecorps.gov, and just type in worldwide school, and then they'll probably even send you a package. But do it early before March, the first week of March.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Peace Corps what organizations they partner with, but I do think that there are a lot of African American national organizations that they could probably partner with to continue to promote the story, even with fraternities, sororities, partnering with them to be able to come in. I know when I was a recruiter, sometimes I would get the alphas to host an event on campus. So I think maybe see if there's opportunities on a national level to partner with some of these organizations. Okay.
They have had partnered with Alpha.
Okay.
Even had memorandum with them.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, understanding and so on. Yeah, and made it much easier when you ran into chapters in colleges. Yeah. We know about Peace Corps through that, so it's easier to get into their forums and talks and so on. So we didn't solidify anything with they didn't solidify anything with Sigma as last year when I still was working with them, but they was still working with Sigma. So and I think they had some kind of they started an ambassadorship with Delta, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so it is always and some of this stuff are not so much inventing the wheel or something brand new. It's just being consistent about it.
Right.
So that's the thing. So yeah, it's just being consistent about it, and because every time you have a new leadership or administration or something like that, rules change and stuff like that, and that's the only reason that things doesn't grow so much, because within 3 or 4 years you're changing
the director,
exactly, you're changing up stuff, you're changing, the only thing that has not changed, I would say, in the last close to 60 years is just the mission of Peace Corps, which is again, that's what I love about it. It's 3 simple missions and so on, and but everything else, how we do things, where we go, how much money we get, always changes. That changes by every year,
right?
So so do you want to leave any word of wisdom to our audience?
Well, what I will say is I feel like when I look at my whole life and all the experiences I've had, Peace Corps has been one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. Being able to go and push myself, be in environments and do things that I never thought I'd be able to do. I think that it helped to mold me. It gave me a certain level of bravery. When I went to Peace Corps, I had actually never been out of the country, and then I go for 2 years. So it was a huge step for me. But I definitely think that it molded me and gave me this whole feeling that whatever it is that I want to accomplish in life, I can. I'm not necessarily working in the same sector, but I think that my Peace Corps experience has helped and pushed me in all areas that I've gone into, whether it's by people being impressed with my Peace Corps experience, whether it's people just wanting to hear my story, or whether it's just personally me being able to say, hey, I did that, I can do this. It's no big deal. So I think that it has definitely been both professionally, personally, it's definitely helped me in the long run. And, something that I'll be able to tell, my, family forever, and, my nephews and nieces. And so I think that for me, it was a life-changing experience. It was something I never even thought that I would do. Like I said, it was my senior year. It was probably a month or two before graduation, and I decided to do Peace Corps. But I'm so happy that I decided to take that step.
Yeah, we're in concurrent as far as agreement, because the same here. I didn't set out to do Peace Corps, I didn't set out to do the military too, but right. Life changes and brings you places, and I don't regret serving in the military, and from there led me to California, which ended up leading me to joining Peace Corps. But yes, people don't realize you're leaving everything you know. You're leaving, depending where you go, but you're leaving the way you speak,
yes.
What you speak, what you eat, and you're immersing yourself into a new culture. You don't know if you're going to be welcomed or not, or anything like that, and how you're going to be welcomed. But now you're actually living, and it's almost like surreal, because you're living, not just getting there and right. Clocking out. Yes. This is your home now. This is your home.
24 hours a day.
Exactly. And for me, being in an isolated village, which I requested, because I kind of didn't want to be near any other Americans. I wanted to actually learn the language. If I knew if I was near any other Americans, I would end up speaking English most of the time. So I really wanted to learn the language. So I was out in the boondocks, and then anybody came and visited me, and a few people did, Maricel and Katrina, and I'm like, okay, well, these guys really want it. I'm gonna have to get out the
right.
Dutch oven
right.
and bake something for them. You know what I'm saying? No, but so here you are. So you're living. There's time you pinch yourself like you're living in a whole entirely new culture,
yes.
And and people are respecting you in that. It's not like they
yes.
because once you merge yourself in there, people now you're one of them. Yes. You're in the community. Hey, to the point they maybe you change your name. For me, Ibrahim Majalo. Ibrahim Majalo. Yeah. So I was Ibrahim Majalo. I'm like, oh my gosh. So you didn't play that time. You wake up like, where's Leslie? Because I'm because he's not. There's no one speaking English here. Is
right.
Ibrahim Majalo speaking Fulani and French?
You are.
And you're walking around teaching stuff you didn't even learn in school.
Yes.
I'm talking about health education. I was, barely doing accounting. Right. In college. So yeah. And then, 2 years passed, and you're like, damn, that was fast. Of course, there are times like, oh my gosh, what the hell am I doing here? What, these people are crazy? At the same time,
you have ups and downs.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the same time, like, oh my gosh, wow.
Surreal, right?
So yeah, I'm in Africa. Yeah. These people are so nice to me, and I'm gonna put my house there. I'm gonna plant, all the things you've been thinking about in the 2 years, it's so in past, and you're like, wow, that was an experience.
Yeah.
And then 30 years later.
Yes.
Decades later.
Right.
You're like, wow, I still could draw energy from this, So, yeah, it's not an easy task, but it's something that, again, I can't fully explain to everybody, but I say, hey, if you're a little adventurous, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go for it, Talk to somebody about it. Go onto the Peace Corps website. Just enjoy.
Yeah.
2 years of your life, believe me, you will never regret. Just always be smart too. Don't go out there and then be a fool.
Yeah. We did some crazy stuff, like jumping in the back of pickup trucks and stuff we weren't supposed to.
Yeah. Well, now I can say stuff. Yeah, like motorcycles and whatnot. But there are crazy stuff that you shouldn't do. Like can't swim. Don't go out there in South Africa where there's the crazy waves or the undertows.
Yes.
I heard some crazy stuff about there. I think Cape Coast or further than that. I don't know. The people who trying to surf.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Don't go into safari without
without a guy.
Exactly.
And a gun.
Don't go and try to knock it and pet the lion. Mm-hmm. Don't be crazy, things like that, Other than that, you're good to go.
Yeah.
I served in the military and I felt safe in the military, but I felt 100 times safer in Peace Corps because I knew if anything happened, they would go out there ready to get me out and the community too, like, oh my gosh, American! Don't let anything happen to the American.
My community definitely looked out for me. I had a little incident once where someone stole some money, and when I tell you my community got mad.
Oh, okay.
And I won't say what happened when they found out who did it.
No, I agree. I
regretted having stolen that money from me.
Listen, I'm not gonna say in detail too because there's thieves everywhere, and there's people who befriend you, but they're think that you're rich, they can take stuff. So same here. The thief, and they threw his parents in jail because he, until he came and gave himself in.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, Of course, that made me feel bad, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be ostracized because I got somebody's parents thrown in jail because of a camera or whatever it was.
But no, they cared about you. I remember my principal, she came to me and she was like, "No, we cannot have this happen. We cannot." I mean, they really care for you, and they felt responsible. Like the family.
You're family, but you're also a guest.
Yeah.
So all right then. I do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Coming out here chatting. Geeking out, I geek out about stuff. So I geek out about Peace Corps always.
Okay.
So thanks again, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Until next time.
All right.